Now then, carpers, a little bit of something different today. One I've been promising you for a while and I've not delivered. Pop-up making. Well, upbake making. So, you'll have to bear with me because things are everywhere and I've not done them for a while, but I promised you I'd show you how I make some of my upbakes. You'll have to excuse me dogs in the background crying. But yeah, let's see what happens. Let's have it. Now then, carpers. The old chucky egg. I don't use the yolks in my mixes because the yolks are the first thing that go bad on an egg. They're the only living enzyme in an egg. So with the yolks, you need preservatives. Well, I don't use preservatives in my baits because I don't think it's good for the carp's health. So I only ever use the whites. And if you dry them out completely, so there's no moisture left in them, they can't go bad. I mean, like I say on my previous videos, I've got baits that I've had now for 2 years made up. And they're not bad, you know what I mean? There's no mould on them, they still smell as they were when they originally made them. So, a little bit of finger there for you, but crack the old eggy egg, the old chucky egg. All I do is hold him in my fingers like that and just let the white run through my fingers. Give him a bit of a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So you've just got the white there, you know what I mean? And one egg mix, I find, will do one full pot of baits. I use the Fox pots that you can buy because they've got seals in the top of them. Well, yeah, we'll get rid of that now. All the white, off that yolk. Get rid of him. Down the sink. So, just got yolk in there, not it? Yeah, you've just got yolk, whites in there, not the yolk. Just got the whites in there now. And what I do now is I keep a record of what I'm doing. I write it down on a piece of paper because if you find an upbake that works, you want to be able to reproduce it. So, I mean, some of these little bits you can see here, this is just some of the bits. I mean, I'll spin the camera now. That's my bait tub. And they're all flavours. Over there's all my colours. See if we can get that back to sit where it was. Right. So shift that egg out of the way because I'm going to do one egg mix at a time. Like I say, it's one egg's a pot of baits, so unless you're making bottom baits, then it's a completely different thing, you know what I mean? You're going to need a lot more eggs, a lot more base mix, you know, that sort of thing. So what we do now is start adding the liquids. This is multi-stim, Mainline's multi-stim. Always put a bit of multi-stim in because it's a feed stimulant. A little syringe. Just getting low on the bottles now, but you know, syringe them out. You know what it says. Not happening that way, carpers. So what we'll do now is we'll tip it in the lid. And the dosage on this is 10 ml to 500 grams, but I find that's more when you're making bottom baits, you know what I mean, loads of them. You can't really overdo it because carp don't eat pop-ups. I know that sounds weird, but they don't actually digest a pop-up, do they? Do you know what I mean? A pop-up's just maximum attraction, kicking off loads of flavour, gets you a bite. What do you do then? You chuck it in the margin, the ducks eat it or whatever, you know what I mean? So, I don't think you can really overdo it. So what I'll do is I'll do to a one egg mix, I'll put 2.5 ml multi-stim, maximum attraction. Put the rest of that back in that bottle. Then, like I say, your additives, your flavours. This one, I'm going to do. This is going to be a golden honey with, he says, I should have got it out ready, but I didn't, like a plum. Where are we? Got a raspberry, no, don't want that one. Banoffee. I'm going to try a banoffee and honey because they smell very, very similar. I mean, sometimes the best thing to do is get your flavours and hold the two together like that, and then, oh yeah, they're going to go together, you know what I mean? They're not, you haven't got one that's really kicking off to the other one. Where are we now? Right, let's give this a little rinse. Try and keep everything as clean as you can, you know what I mean? Because for one, you don't want something cross-contaminating your bait. Really open the wrong one then, that's one for in a minute. So we've got the golden honey, and the dosage is 5ml, again to 500 grams, half a kilo. But with pop-ups, you want that maximum attraction. So I will half the dose to 1 egg. You know what I mean? I will put, couldn't have done that again, Carpers, could I? Bang on 2.5ml. That's the golden honey. And then I'm going to go and some flavours are oil based, some are alcohol based, and some are water based. So again, 2.5 of banoffee. So that's the honey and the banoffee with the multi-stim. And then what I'll do now is, I used to use the Mainline Polaris, but I think, I'm not too sure, if Mainline have actually stopped making the Polaris. So now I'm going to add my Sweet Aid to sweeten it up, which is 2ml to 500 grams, because you can make them over sweet. So with this one, I'll probably just go, looking on my syringe here, I'll probably go, that's one, that's 22. Right, love. With my multi-stim, I'm only going to go about 1ml of multi-stim. Turning a little bit much. So about 1ml of multi-stim. Sweet Aid, which is your sweetener. You can buy the intense sweetness and the sweet, like the sweet boosters. But I just find that the Sweet Aid, because it's an active aid, it's a feed inducing flavour. It's got no real smell to it anyway, same as the multi-stim. It hasn't really got a smell, it's just an additive. So what we'll do then, Carpers, is obviously, you see it in there now, you've got your colour, like your flavours, your multi-stim, your Sweet Aid, and just your 1 egg white. Give it a mix up. Bit of wrist action. You know what I mean? I mean, banoffee and honey, they're both cracking baits on their own, aren't they? But by mixing the two, as we do like this, you know, we're going to get the best of both worlds, aren't we? Just give that a right good mix. Now smell. Oh yes. Oh yes. The honey's slightly stronger than the banoffee. because it is quite a pungent smell in it, honey. I mean, honey's probably one of my favourite winter baits. Honey, anything honey flavoured. So then what we're going to do then, carpers, is we go to our colours. What colour are we going to make them? Make them pink. Or do we make them yellow? I think I'm going to go with the pink, carpers. Now 1 heaped tablespoon of this is the Richworth stuff. I don't even know if you can still get this anymore. But no tablespoon. I won't put a heaped one in because I don't want them mega bright, if you know what I mean. I want them to like a washed out colour. So I'm going to go like sort of level sort of teaspoon. Teaspoon, sorry. And I'll give that a mix in now. Make sure it's all, you don't want any big lumps. You want everything to be mixed. Get a bit of mix up, you know what I mean? Get that wrist action going again. That's a lovely, vibrant pink. But you will lose a bit of the colour when you add the pop-up mix or the Polaris mix, or you know, you will lose a bit of the colour because I found that it sort of dulls them down a little bit, because when you use the pop-up mix and you get it wet, it goes like a yellowy colour, like a washed out, like sickly yellower colour. So it will tone the colour down a little bit. So we'll leave that to sit for a second now, and we'll write everything down if I can remember it. So 1 egg white, what do we do? 2.5 multi-stem, 2.5 honey, 2.5 banoffee, and 1 ml of Sweet Aid. And a level spoon, can't spell today, spoon of pink. And I'll leave that to sit for a minute or two now, just to let the flavours all mix in with each other. Yeah, I'll just let them mix together a little bit now. I'll put my lids back on, otherwise I end up making a mess in the kitchen. Kitchen smells lovely now, it smells like a sweet shop. But yeah, we'll leave that just a few minutes, just while we let it all set together and, you know what I mean, mix together. And then I'm going to use, I've had to buy now the CC Moore white pop-up mix. I don't know why they call it a making pack, because you only get the Polaris in it. So, but like I said, I did favour Mainline's Polaris, which is this one here, which is one I've always used for my upbaits. I find you get a better absorption, I think, to the Polaris than the CC Moore, but I haven't actually used this new CC Moore since they've redone it. I used to use it when it was in bags. So we'll see what this turns out like now. Have a mouthful of my brew. Then we get the fun bit going, the messy bit. Shift some of these bits out of the way. Liquids, eggshell out the way, put my syringe into soak. That's been sat for a minute or two now. Nice and fluffy, you know what I mean? It's fluffed right up with the old wrist action, you know? But that smells absolutely mega. That smells mega. That's going to be a nice winter bait, that one. I'm still going to use it now. So what we do now, what's that in there then? Oh, hey up. I never knew that. I never knew that, carpers. How's that then? CC Moore actually give you a bottle of liquid bait preservative. But like I said, I've never used it, so I never knew that. That's probably why they call it a making kit then. Like I say, I don't use the yolks. If you use the yolks, then put that in. But the only other thing I'll tell you when you use a yolk and you put it in your bait is it makes the pop-up heavier because the yolk's got a lot more density to it. So what you'll find is your pop-ups might not be as buoyant as what they are when you use the whites, like I'm only using the whites at the moment. So, you know, that's just one for what I do anyway, you know what I mean? I mean, I've known lads that have made baits and a week or two later, they're mouldy, they've got white fur on them, they don't smell right, so it's in the bin. And like I say, I know, I mean, I've got baits in my cupboard here, what I've made up. When I went in the carp match last week, that fish I had on there was caught on one of my baits. I mean, I've got some more of them up here on top of the cupboard ready, like them in there. They've been made for 2 years. That's another pot full, ready to refill my pots when I need to. And like I say, they just sat on top of my cupboard, they are. But right, let's get back to business. With your pop-up mix, add a little bit, not much, don't overdo it straight away. Use a little bit at a time and just mix it in. Because you don't want any big clumps of pop-up mix or any clumps of your flavours all sticking together. I mean, it goes like slime. I mean, look at that now. It's changed the pinkness completely already, and that was only a little bit. So we'll give it a mix in, and we'll add a little bit more. It's a bit clumpy really, this one. So we'll add a little bit more now. We'll get that mixed in. And what you're looking for is when you start mixing it in, before you get your hands in there, is you want it to start going to like a dough, like binding together like a dough, you know what I mean? But make sure you get it from all around the pot, all around your pan or your bowl or whatever you're using, like so. Stupid dog. Stupid dog. Talk with me now. Pack it in. Bark your own shadow, you do, you muppet. Shut up! A little bit more now, because you can already see how sticky it is. We don't want it, when you get your hands in there, it's messy, you know what I mean? You see that now? It's all like flaking together now, but you might think, oh, it's too dry. Trust me, it's not. When you get your hands in there in a minute and start kneading it together, you bring the moistures back to the surface of them. Just say it's getting messy, you know what I mean? And like I say, banging your hands in it, and you get some funny looks when you go in shops and places like that because your hands are bright pink or bright yellow, or you know what I mean? So that now is about ready for the old hands in there job. I'll start kneading it together now. See, it's gone sticky. Look at my hands already, look. So it's way too sticky, that is. You want it like a tacky, not sticky, but like a tacky texture. So all I do now is I just sprinkle a bit at a time now to get it to where I want it to be. Otherwise, when you come to roll it on the table, it will just stick to the table and it spreads down the table and they just don't roll. Just do not roll. See, that's still very sticky. We'll use the rest of that powder out of there now. It smells absolutely gorgeous, but it's still very sticky, so I'll rub that off my hands because that's all. You could put gloves on, I suppose, if you wanted to, but get down and dirty, innit? You know what I mean? Carp anglers, we love it. Get my hands now, bright pink. So pick all them bits up out of there again now. And that's still quite sticky. But what I do now is, when it's like this and it's slightly sticky, because the powders haven't took the liquids on quite properly just yet. I mean, it's tacky, but it's not. It's maybe a little bit too tacky, that. Maybe just another sprinkle, just to get it. Otherwise, what'll happen is you'll struggle when you come to roll them. And that's why I like to give up, because they won't roll on the table. But it's just like I say, it's practice really. I mean, the amount of them that I've made before now, and I've chucked them in the bin because they've not turned out right, they don't smell right. So we're just, it's tacky, very tacky. It's very, yeah, it's too tacky that is. It's like, look, way too tacky that is now. So again, get rid of that off my hands. Obviously make sure your hands are clean before you do this, because you don't want to cross-contaminate your bait. There's nothing worse than trying your own baits and then sitting there and wondering why you're not getting a bite, because you can smell something in your hands, or, you know. We'll get them bits in there now. Bit more powder, which is still, like I say, sticky. And you want it like a firm dough, like a Play-Doh sort of texture, where it's not sticky that it's going to stick to everything, but it's still soft enough to work. You dry it out too much and you run the risk of having to add water and so on. You don't want to be doing that really. You don't want to be doing that. So I reckon now if I pick up them last bits out of that bowl there now. And these bits that are stuck in the bowl. Keep kneading it over, keep working it in, because you're working the flavour in, and you're working the. You want every single up bait to be the same. Do you know what I mean? You don't want one that's got more power or flavour than another one. Well, that seems about the right consistency now. So what I'll do now is I'll leave that now for about 20 minutes, half an hour. Just wash my hands. Your hands and all rinse. Don't use soap and that on your hands when you're doing this either, because it will smell. Simba, enough. Got 3 dogs and he's the noisiest one out of all 3. Yeah, so I'll leave that now for about 20 minutes, half an hour, just to let everything absorb, and you know, and it will dry out a little bit now. Now it's been left for a bit. I mean, it's sticky still, but it's not sticking to me as much. So we'll give that half an hour now, and I'll get back to you when I come to roll them. Alright then, carpers, in about half an hour. It's in the gun now, loaded in. 40mm nozzle, 40mm table. When you squeeze it out, don't squeeze it out too quick, don't squeeze it out too slow. Just nice and steady. One side to the other. 2 nice sausages, it says. And hopefully they'll roll. Drop the lid on. End ones always knacker up. There we go, carpers. How's that? Straight onto a tape, onto a plate. For a minute or two. Same again. You don't want the sausages too thick and you don't want too thin. It's just getting the hang of how fast to do it. There you go. On the table with the rest of them. Still slightly sticky this mix is, but it's rolled. Smells absolutely mega. Table's starting to get a bit sticky now, so just rotate it round and get to a nice clean spot. Same again. Lid on. There we go. To the plate. I mean, any that don't roll, just drop them back in the gun and redo them. These are quite sticky, these actually. Should have been a little bit drier than that, but they've rolled. So what you don't want is air holes in the middle of them. Otherwise they'll crack open and take on water, and not what we want. There you go, that's the end of that one. One there, it's not done. There we go. I say about a pot, that is. Well, end piece there. Get rid of it. Then we want to get the water boiling. So I'll get back to you in a minute. Now then, carpers, back again. Water bubbling. Make sure it's proper bubbling. Better really if you use your stove because it's an open flame then, but you know what I mean, get it on the cooker, get it proper boiling. You want that but really boiling. And what we do then is we get the stopwatch and we want to be boiling them. I boil my 14 millers for about 2 minutes. Don't put them all in at once because when you drop them all in, they'll take the temperature of the water down, so it's not boiling as it is, you know what I mean. Plus you want them to all boil, you want the water to move around them to boil them properly. Because with bottom baits, when you make bottom baits, you drop them in and they sink. When they're done, they'll float, and it's mad because you think, well, they float, you know what I mean, but when you dry them back out, then they'll sink again. Whereas pop-ups, obviously pop-ups are going to float no matter what. So you want to get about 10 or 15, I'd say, straight into the water, 2 minutes, he says, without squashing them all, because they're still soft. Get a few in there now, boiling away. Make sure they're not stuck to each other. And this is where you will lose a little bit of the colour because it'll boil out of them. You want them nicely boiling away like that. They will swell up. They will like go bigger than what they were when you rolled them. But when you dry them out, they'll shrink again. In fact, I'll do these for 1.5 minutes, 90 seconds. Because I find if you boil them too much, they go rock hard. You're boiling the flavour out of them, you're boiling the colour out of them, and they're not going to be as attractive as what you want them to be. So make sure you give them a little knock around the pan so they're not boiling on one side and not on the other, the bit that's sticking out the water. Boil them away like that, as we do. Make sure that water stays boiling all the time. That's why they get the name boilers. And my ginger dog there, photobombing, and the little girl sat over there. So we're up to 90 seconds now, and we'll take these ones out, so we'll drain them off. Onto a separate plate or a towel or a little drying rack or anything that you've got, sort of thing. I just put them on a plate, I do. Get the water off them. And then the second lot will go in, 90 seconds again. Stuck to the plate these are. What is it? They're probably not the best ones I've ever made. But, you know, they haven't always got to be perfectly round, and you know, but you just want the skins to be sealed, because obviously you don't want them taking on water, because that's when they lose the buoyancy and you're not fishing as effectively as what you want it to be. So we'll get them in there now and then. There's the ones we've just done on the plate. So they need to dry now for a couple of days at least. Like I say, if you leave any sort of moisture in them, that's when you run the risk of them going mouldy. And we don't want mouldy bait. They're a lovely pink colour these are, they've got a really nice pink colour. Pink to make the big girls wink. My dog's noses are going mad because they want them. See where we're up to on the time. Straight out of the water again now. 90 seconds. There they are, look. Drain that excess water off. Get them all out. Pan back down. Last ones. So they are a little bit sticky, these ones, which is not one I wanted, but like I say, it was just a quick video to give you an idea of how to do it. And like I say, they want drying now for a few days. Put them in an air dry bag, hang them in your shed, make sure you hang them up where the mice will get them. You don't want them in direct sunlight because it'll burn them, bleach them. You don't want them anywhere where it's damp and it's musky, and ideally you want a nice dry. I mean, the airing cupboard's usually a good one. Put them in the airing cupboard, dry them out in there where it's warm but there's no direct sunlight. Well, if you're liking these videos, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Ask me anything you want. Like I say, I've been carp fishing a long time. And I think with making your own pop-ups, you're just giving yourself that little edge over other anglers, you know. Anybody can go into a tackle shop and buy a pot of pop-ups off the shelf, go fishing, yeah, you'll catch fish, you know what I mean, they're tried and tested. But having that little edge. Alright, these are done now, so we'll take them out. That's the one egg mix done. Hopefully there's some 30 pounders there now sitting on the plate. Be nice, but you know. Turn the cooker off. And that, carpers. I mean, obviously they are a little bit rough, them ones are. They're probably not the best ones I've ever made, them aren't. Bit of a rush job today, you know what I mean? Just trying to get this video out. But, oh yeah, they smell mega. They smell mega. They've lost a bit of the flavour, a bit of the power, but when they dry out, it will come back again. And what you can do is when they're dry, get your flavours that you got, obviously the banoffee and the honey with these ones, get a couple of mil in a bag, put them in the bag, rub it around the bag, drop your baits in, rub them all up, and they'll soak it back into the skin, so you're getting that maximum attraction from your up baits. But yeah, if you're liking them, subscribe, get a like on, get a comment in, any flavours that you might want to, I don't know, ask me about, or you know. Well yeah, that's the one, carpers. See you soon.